Hi, I'm Joni with Looking at Careers with Joni, and I'm here today talking with Jake, who's a production designer and art director in Los Angeles. Today I want to explore Jake's background, and I want to talk a lot about Jake and his persistence to continue moving forward, to keep advancing his career and moving to the next level. So, Jake, let's start with tell me a little bit. What is a production advisor, designer, and an art director? I don't
Yeah,
even,
it's
you know, I don't even know what that means.
thanks, Joni. I appreciate you having me on here to chat about all that, and I'm excited to share some of these stories and talk with you about it. A production designer, basically, and I'll be honest, I didn't even know before I got into the film industry what a production designer or art director was. So
Mhm.
it's kind of shrouded in the Hollywood magic world.
Right.
But what we do really is we are the head of the art department, which takes care of the sets and the props and the effects and the cars and the locations, everything that you see on screen that
Mhm.
isn't the actors.
Okay.
Everything
Oh,
in the background,
okay.
there's all the production design going on.
Yeah. Wow. And
That's yeah. It's a very creative role. I'm working with the director to
mhm.
tell their story and either sell a product for a commercial client or tell a narrative story for a film or TV show through the design of the sets and all. And
Awesome.
then also working with the producer to make sure that
Mhm.
it's stay within their budget and have things ready and scheduled
Oh,
on time and take care of any houses we're shooting in. I mean, sometimes we're shooting in mansions or very historic places or something. So we have to be very careful with what sort of changes we do within those and all. So there's a
so
lot of
your
problems.
background is more than just creative. You have to have a lot of other skills beside creative skills. A
It's
lot
there.
of business skills.
Yes. There's a lot of that too. So it's kind of both sides of the
Interesting.
brain, sort of. It's very, yeah. There's a lot of things going on.
Very
So,
interesting. Why don't you go back in time and tell us how you got into this?
yeah, absolutely. So grew up as a kid taking art lessons and music lessons. I always knew I was going to be doing something creative. I mean, my
Uh-huh.
uncle's an artist and all, so he taught me how to paint. And,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it kind of followed those tracks. And then in high school, we were sitting in homeroom trying to figure out what career to follow. And I wanted to be a lawyer, but I wanted to be a pilot, and I wanted to be all of these things. And I was like, well, why don't I go into acting and then I can be all of those
Well,
things? And
that's true, right?
it was my brilliant revelation at a teenage year. I had started doing some theater and acting there and working behind the scenes too. And I really enjoyed the creative aspect as well as the collaborative aspect of it. So
Uh-huh.
a bunch of people coming together to make some art. Um, so I went to college,
Right.
University of New Hampshire, with a major in theater,
Mhm.
and that's where I met Heather, who
Uh-huh.
has connected us,
Right.
and working on the shows and working behind the scenes with the lighting and the set design, costumes. She and I both worked in the costume shop.
Awesome. Yeah.
Um, so that, and also working with some social justice theater troops, really looking into how theater and storytelling and art in general can be used as a social tool and as a tool for
What do you
change.
mean? What do you mean by that?
Um, by exposing people to new ideas, really.
But I
By
mean, how does your background help do that? What do you do?
Well, what I do currently as a designer, I pick the colors that are going
Okay.
into a set. I pick, um, and I guess zooming out from that a little bit, I pick which shows I even want to put my talent
Oh,
behind.
okay.
If or which clients come along that I would rather not associate myself with,
Well, that's.
or that
Mhm.
I do want to support and do uplift their stories. I try to work with Black directors, female directors, producers, teams like that, and uplift these kinds of stories that historically have not been given a platform in Hollywood. So
Wow. Oh,
using
that's great.
using whatever tools I have at my disposal to uplift and share new voices and new ideas and just things that people may not have been exposed to. But then when they turn on their TV, see something going on, maybe it sparks them to Google something or other, and then they learn a
Right.
little bit more. So then, even if it's as simple as that, then I feel like I did my job. So
That's wonderful. Well, talk about, so you got out of school
yeah.
and where did you go from there?
There were some things in the meantime. There have definitely been some shifts and all. So when I graduated school, I had thankfully, looking back now, I had taken some design classes as well and everything while I was there. But my focus when I graduated was acting. I was going to be a star. And I had started doing some modeling too and was getting into that world. Working down in Boston. That was my first big city to experience.
It is a big city.
Yeah, it's a city for sure. That was when I had to get a GPS finally. I upgraded from West because one wrong turn and you're definitely.
I guess you're using it in LA too.
That's it. Oh yes, I use it every day now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even going home, I turn the GPS on.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so I was acting and modeling. That led me to New York City. Moved there in 2013. Lived there for a year. Started working more on commercials and music videos, getting onto some more film sets as opposed to theater.
And did you get these jobs just by trying out? You saw ads and you went for it?
I saw ads and I was submitting my reels, and I mean that was the thing that just kind of got to me after a while, was the amount of like reaching out I would do compared to the amount of then responses I would get, which would be a percentage of the amount of initial emails I had sent or resumes and headshots I sent out, or things I followed up on.
Sure.
A certain percentage of those would come back, and then I would get an audition or whatever, and then I'd get a call back maybe from those sometimes.
Yeah.
And landing the final role felt like a whole obstacle course just to get there.
Right.
And I quickly realized that even when you get the role and you go to set and you film it and everything, it then has to be edited. And you might not even end up in the final film. Or it could take 3 years for them to finish editing.
Yeah.
So there's so much up to chance that you just have no control over.
If you end up on the cutting room floor, do you get paid?
You still get paid. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So there's at least something good in that. Yeah.
There's something good in it. Yeah. Although I was working a lot for free. So
sure.
Getting the footage was my way of getting paid. So I guess in that regard, no. But it's a lot of risk taking and just relationship building. Still.
Right.
Working with someone, they enjoy working with you, think of you for the next project. You keep in touch with them, so when they are doing the next project, they are still thinking of you and how they think you're a cool person too and creative and all. So
when you keep in touch with people, do you get together with them? Do you call them? Do you text them? Do you email them? How do you stay in touch with people? And how subtle is it?
All different ways. Every person's different. So if it's someone that I feel like, I see their stuff on Instagram and I'm, congratulating them on things, or if they send me an email from their company and I respond to that, or maybe I remember they knew someone who knew something, so I text them and say, hey, hope you're doing well. And
whoops.
Like
it's kind of
wow. It's not.
Okay,
It's
but I
not
get
like
it.
any specific schedule.
But it's more keeping your name in front of somebody than, I mean, the content of what you're saying is obviously important, but it's not like you're keeping on our conversations in order to stay in touch and to network with people. It's just kind of keeping your name in front of them so they remember who you are from the last time.
Exactly. There's a few people who are, very close to my heart, and we
Sure.
catch up for hours and all.
Right.
Like Heather, she and
Yeah.
I catch up for over FaceTime and all.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, if it's a business relationship, it's just kind of minimal. They're probably busy on something, so you don't want to take
Yeah.
up too much time or send a letter or something.
Yeah, I think that's a real key though in networking. People think that networking is just talking and talking and talking, and really, I think the key is getting your name in front of somebody over and over and over about just little things.
And
You know,
finding out what
congr
they're doing.
yeah,
Hey, hope you're doing well. What are you working on lately? What cool stuff do you have going on?
right.
And let them talk, and they feel good because you're a listener. So
Yeah, well, that's true too, huh?
that makes it a little easier sometimes, because I'm not always there to talk or have something to say or whatever, but I can listen.
Yeah,
So
that's
and I can usually learn something when I do.
right. Right. Okay, so now you're in New York and you're getting some gigs,
Getting some gigs, getting on
doing
some
some,
film sets, starting to learn, like, oh yeah, there are other people behind the camera. There's like the costume people and the art department that's handing me my props and stuff when I'm
right.
an actor.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, okay, maybe even if I'm not acting, I could still be doing some of these other things and be in this world. I loved the creative atmosphere of it. And I also loved having something that I could send to my parents because they couldn't show up to my theater shows. That's the thing with theater.
Ah,
It's very
that's
ephemeral. If
yeah,
you don't see it and you miss that live performance, it's oof.
right. That's true. I never really thought about it. That is true though.
That helped me switch. And of course, there's much more money to be made in like
Sure.
the commercial world. Theater is so underfunded,
Yeah.
and I don't know how to change that, even though
Yeah.
it
You'll
was
it'll
so
I think
formative.
it'll come to you. So then you went out to LA.
So then, yeah, so I was in New York City. I was broke. I was depressed. My relationship was plummeting. So I was like, all right, New York is just not the city for me. I need to move to LA, but first I need to save up some money. So I went back home to Maine, moved back in with my dad for a year,
Mhm.
worked at Bank of America in a call center in
Okay.
saved up some money. I set a goal for myself. I was like, once I hit $5,000, I'm out.
Mhm. That's good.
So
Goals are important.
yeah, it was. I mean, while I was there, I was enjoying my time in Maine and volunteering, and had a motorcycle, so I'd ride around.
Yeah.
And did film shoots, work on film shoots on the weekends to get experience and learn like what the sound person does, what the camera people do,
Right.
like all that little stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then, yeah, I moved out to
Wait,
Los
what did
Angeles.
you do for Bank of America?
I worked in the credit card priority department.
And
Um,
what did you do?
I handled people's credit cards,
I mean, you took
all kinds
calls.
of customer
Was it a
service.
call center or
It
did
was
you monitor?
incoming calls. It was
Okay.
incoming calls, yeah.
Okay.
So it wasn't like the sales department or anything. They
Okay.
were their own special team. But
Right.
no, it was customer service, but I had to know all about the interest rates and the promotions and how it all worked. And
And they train you on all that.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
extensive training, and
Okay.
she continually updated training. We'd have weekly trainings.
Okay.
Use
So banking is
LinkedIn.
good because they keep giving you skills
There were a lot
to
of skills that I
okay.
picked up. Yeah, I mean, especially being a call center, how to have a conversation. on
Sure.
film and have the give and take that is required there.
Okay. Interesting.
Um,
All right.
yeah,
So you got your $5,000.
got hit my goal there. Bought my plane ticket one way, and I moved out to Los Angeles in August of 2015. So
Okay.
we're 6.5 years now.
Wow. Okay.
Um, yeah, and I just started. I was on Craigslist. I was, looking at film school bulletin boards and things, like walking around looking for the yellow location signs that meant there was a set somewhere nearby, and
Uh-huh.
just bring my resume, and I had a little business card with my phone number and email on it, and just trying to get work however I could. And
Wow.
if
Just
I
hanging out and meeting people.
absolutely, if I had a day where I wasn't actually on set, then that was a day that I was searching for more jobs. So
Okay. Wow.
I just wanted to meet as many people and get on as many different sets as I could and learn all. I didn't even know what all I was going to learn at that point. I just knew I was going to learn a bunch. So
Yeah. Oh, that's
um,
an interesting way to find jobs.
it's that's I mean, I owe a lot of that to my mentor. She, clued me in on a lot of these tricks.
Okay.
She's I'm actually talking about getting her set up with Heather as well,
Mhm.
because there's more of a film industry growing in North Carolina now too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah,
Um, okay. And you told me that you have some big news. You just got invited into the union.
I
And
just
what
got invited into the Art Directors Guild.
and how does that happen and what's that going to do for you?
So in the film and commercial world, there's non-union work and companies and all, and there's union,
Mhm.
which is covered under IATSE, the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees.
Mhm.
Learning all of these acronyms.
Mhm. Yeah, really.
But so they're basically covered. They have,
Yeah.
scale rates that are set by the union bargaining board. They have healthcare and pensions and a lot of other union benefits. And it kind of lays out the roles very clearly within a film production, like who's responsible for the painting, who's responsible for building the sets, and kind of
Wow.
all who designs the sets, but
Yeah.
then not allowed to pick up the tools and work on it or anything. I'm just allowed to ask the carpenters to adjust it or whatever.
Yeah.
So
But it's something where you're always learning.
yes, every single day, I'm learning new things.
That's something. And then you tell me that you have plans to continue school and keep on learning new things to keep advancing yourself.
I do, yeah. I'm also in the midst of joining the union and finding an agent to represent me as a production designer and keep
Oh.
more work coming in, and that's kind of how oh, is there a little dog there?
There goes my dog.
Well, mine's over here napping right
Yeah, mine was bugging me over here, but she heard something more fun.
now. No, that's definitely a secret to success. It's animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot of it. So you're going to go back to school. Do you have a time period for that?
Time frame for that? Well, right now I'm studying to take the GRE. It's kind of like the SAT, but for grad school. So that's those results. Once I get them, they're good for 5 years. So
Okay.
I'm gonna
So
pass
5 to 10 years, you're going to be going back to school.
yeah, within the not too distant future, I'm hoping to go back for architecture. It's a pretty similar role in the construction world as
Uh-huh.
what I do in film right now. It's working with a client to stay on budget and schedule and make sure that something beautiful happens and that it stands up and does what it's supposed to.
Well, I
So
think it's great. I think you're doing great. You've learned how to make the connections, and I think it's going to keep serving you well.
I hope so, yeah, and certainly I'll be keeping in touch with you too and letting you know how
I
it goes.
know things have gone through my mind where I might be able to connect you with some people just
I mean,
from
this leather worker
from this.
you were telling me about sounds like a pretty cool person I wouldn't mind being introduced to.
Okay. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. But thanks for participating in this call today. And
Absolutely.
for everybody listening, if you liked this video, I hope you click like below and subscribe to this channel because Jake's an interesting guy and I think we're going to have a lot more interesting people to talk to. So thanks for watching and we'll be back again soon. Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.